Hamilton have just released a watch that is a direct competitor to the Khaki Field Mechanical. Is it worth buying this over that one? Let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. Today we're looking at a couple of watches from the Swatch Group juggernaut, Hamilton. Now, in Hamilton's Khaki range, you will find some of the best watches on the market. Hamilton have a huge history, particularly in the military, going way back, and they have been able to make fantastic, re-inspired tool watches that watch people and just people in general just want to lap up. Now, the watch I'm showing you now doesn't need an introduction. It's been one of the most popular watches for the last 6 to 8 years. The Khaki Field Mechanical is one of the best all-round watches in the Khaki range, and it represents the best Hamilton can be for me. Now, it's always had its negatives, and Hamilton have never tried to address them, like the very long lug to lug and the fact it's only 50 meters water resistant. It being a field watch, come on Hamilton, the minimum is 100. The other big negative for me in recent times is the Hamilton price increase. Now, some of the first shows I did on this channel was showing off a Hamilton Field Mechanical, and brand new back in 2020-2021 this watch was £375. The perfect entry into not only the Khaki range but Swiss watches in general. However, in 2024, just 4 years on, this watch is now £545, which is a huge jump, isn't it? Like I said, Hamilton have a great history of making military watches, not only for the US, but also for us Brits. And in fact, a new watch that they have just came out with was inspired by the GS, the General Service Watch Hamilton made back in the 60s for the British Army. Now, ironically, back then, that watch was mechanical. We hadn't hit the Quartz revolution yet. However, Hamilton have brought this watch back to life with a Quartz module. And because of that choice, it's put a lot of people off. In the 80s, all military watches went to Quartz because A, they were cheaper to make, cheaper to buy for the military, and also more reliable. Hamilton bringing out a Quartz military watch makes sense. The other contentious thing, this Quartz watch is the same price as the Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical used to be back in 2021. So, is it worth it? And when you compare it to the Field Mechanical, the icon, do I recommend it to you? Also, don't forget my wife's first impressions at the end, because this Field Mechanical is probably her favourite watch. Also, I did a poll on the community post showing both of these watches and asking which one do you prefer. Find out the results of that as well. These watches were kindly sent in to me from Francis & Gay Jewelers, the #1 place to buy your Hamiltons, Seikos, so many brands we love. If you use this code, you can get a massive deal on your Hamiltons. The code's still going. They said it was only going to be for 30 days, but I tried it yesterday. The code still works. Keep it to yourself. Are you Khaki ready? Let's go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Khaki Field Quartz. And taking the Quartz mechanical debate to one side, this is my kind of watch. And the reason why military watches are so damn good, because they are legible to the max. These watches never age either. Obviously, we've got huge similarities to the Field Mechanical. We've got a brushed stainless steel case, a nice big chunky crown at 3 o'clock. It looks a little bit smaller than the Mechanical, but it's still big. One thing I noticed straight away when I was looking at this watch, there are no drilled holes in the lugs like there is on the Field Mechanical. That's a bit weird, almost like an oversight, and slightly disappointing. However, I love this case. It's so thin. The sapphire glass on this Khaki is flat. The Field Mechanicals has a bit of a dome to it. And how well does the bead blasted stainless steel and dial go with this green strap? They nailed it with this, didn't they? First impressions, and taking the price of this to one side, I love it. Quick specs checks. So if you are trying to decide on what Hamilton you want to buy, I thought it'd be quite good just to give you the dimensions of both of these, because it is significant. With the Quartz, it's a 38mm case. The diameter of the dial is just under 29mm. It's only 8.3mm thick, which is insane and fantastic for NATO's. It's only 45mm lug to lug, which is smaller than the field mechanicals, which is just over 47. So it shows Hamilton have listened. Unfortunately, where they haven't listened to us, and there's no reason not to have listened to us, is with the water resistance. The crown is not screw in. We do have a screw down case back, but this watch is 50 meters water resistant. Do they feel like they need to keep it in a line with the field mechanical? They could easily have made this crown screw in. As it's quartz, once you set the time, you're not going to use the crown anymore. So have it screwed in with a screw down case back surely would keep the integrity of this watch to give you 100 meters of water resistance. Bad, Hamilton. Exactly, that's a little bit disappointing. Is it because they feel like they're restricted, that if they did it to this watch, sales would drop in the mechanical? I don't know. Like I said, I love the NATO style strap to this. Very high quality, leather keepers, stainless steel tang buckle. It is brushed, it's not bead blasted like the case, but it's very well made. It's exactly the same as the field mechanical strap, so you're not gonna get a difference there, but it works so damn well, so why change it? Okay, let's look at the face.
Dial time.
And I gotta say, I absolutely love this dial. Matte black, as you would expect with a military watch, or military inspired watch. We've got a railroad track, which is synonymous with all British military watches. That's how you can usually tell the difference between a British military watch than a US one. You can buy this watch with different colored dials. I think there's a navy blue one. I also think there's a black dial with white indices, so you don't have to have this faux patina. I like a bit of faux patina. I do love custard. I like the old logo Hamilton below that triangle. And I've got to be honest, I do like the khaki below the hand stack, inspired by those old watches. I think the khaki could be a little bit bigger, but I don't really have much of a problem with it. The handset, where they are a syringe style, so much more legible than the field mechanical because of the military 24-hour markers. It just takes the busyness away, and you didn't realize it was busy until you've seen this one. Even though the field mechanical is a massive icon, I think I prefer this dial. Now, when it comes to loom, there's a big difference to the Quartz, because not only do we have the hour markers loomed and the handset, we also have the numerals loomed, something you don't get with the field mechanical. Another tick box in the win category for Quartzy baby. So powering this watch is an ETA F06105. It has
heavy drive,
which basically means it's got more torque to it, so it's able to move big hands. It's got a 5-year battery life, and it's just hugely reliable. Operating it is lovely. It's one of the best Quartz watches I've ever operated because the hands are so smooth. You've only got one position. It does hack. The second hand stops when you pull the crown out. A lot of Quartz movements can be quite loose when you're turning the hands. Not this one. This is lovely.
Hello.
On my 6.5-inch wrist, and this watch is phenomenal. I love the fact they shaved the lug to lug measurement down a little bit, because there's gonna be a lot more people want to wear this watch. This is a watch I could definitely see me wearing all the time. It's one of those watches you can just take out the watch box, stick it on your wrist and know that you've got the correct time. It's ready for action, ready for battle, but might not be water ready. The dial size on the Quartz is slightly smaller than the field mechanical, which again puts a big plus in the Quartz version. It's very easy to put these two watches in the same category. It's only when you look deeper into the specs you realize there is a lot of difference in these two, and it's not just the movement. So there we go, Khaki, mechanical and Quartz. If money was no issue, which one would you buy? I've got to be honest, I am torn. This field mechanical has been a massive favourite of mine for almost 10 years. I think it's got the best wind in the game, the best crown in the Swatch Group lineup, and I've always loved the dial. This Quartz, there's a hell of a lot to love with this thing. Military watches should be Quartz watches. Let's not kid ourselves, eh? To be fair, they should be heavy G-shocks, but that's another subject. I love the fact Hamilton have taken inspiration from a British military watch they issued back in the 60s. I feel a little bit closer to this dial for some reason. I don't like the lack of drilled lugs, I've got to be honest. And I'm annoyed that they have kept this watch 50 meters water resistant. This is the entry level to Khaki at £375. Would I recommend it over the Field Mechanical? Oh, that's a hard question. What I would say is I would be more than happy to own both. There are enough differences in these watches to make you have both. You've literally got a US inspired and a British inspired Hamilton, and to have them side by side in your watch box, that would be well cool. Okay, so I did a poll on the community posts on the channel. 3,500 people voted. 53% of you preferred the Quartz. And I gotta be honest, I was very surprised. Because the Field Mechanical is a flipping icon. But if you talk around with your watch enthusiasts on the old forums, people are steering clear of this Quartz watch. If they took the price down £100 to £275, I reckon they would have sold at least a third more than they have done since its release. I think they've shot themselves in the foot a bit. The trouble is they've overpriced the Field Mechanical. And when you've got the Quartz, which basically has the same stuff with it, almost the same case, crown, strap, they can't make it too cheap because then this won't sell. So they're sort of stuck. Us, the customer, won't be stuck because I reckon in a year's time, if you haven't bought this Quartz already, it'll be on the likes of Joma Shop for £250. Just being honest. Right, this is very interesting because the Khaki Field Mechanical is one of my wife's favourite watches. Bearing in mind, she doesn't like watches. This one is one of her favourites. I asked her which one she prefers, the Field Mechanical or the Quartz. I prefer the one on the right. It's much clearer. The other one, to me now, looks way too busy. They are both good looking watches, but the one on the right is the one for me. Wow, so even Hamilton have made a new watch that the wife prefers over this iconic Field Mechanical. You pretty much smashed it with her, Hamilton. Thank you so much for watching till the end. It is always much appreciated. If you want a bit more than my watch collector, click there and join. But if I've got you for a few more minutes, come on, I know I have. Come on, I want you to click this one. Go on, have a look at this one. This is lovely. Yeah, they're all lovely, but this is lovelier. Go on, click it. You know you want to. Go on, click it. Click it!